Oh, sorry, have a seat, bro. Yeah, she told me about it, man. I don't know if I'm like the most interesting person for play, you know, but I guess we'll see, you know. All right, yeah, my name's Jorge. I'm 28 years old and I'm a pipe fitter. Well, that's easy, man. That's the question. Shit, that's easy, man. I mean, yeah, she's what makes me happy every minute of every day. Every night I come home, I just thank God she's there. I'd do anything for her. Guess I already had, don't I? Yeah, you know, she told me, she told you, it's alright, it's alright. I mean, in my own words, it's like, I don't know, man, when Madeline and I first met, it was like I'm still so young, you know, I was still like playing it tough, you know, running with the wrong crowd and shit. I was doing some slang and, you know, all that bad shit you do when you're young, you know. And this one weekend, my pappy was like, you know, Jorge, I'm having this neighborhood, you know, gathering thing, like party and everything. Like, you gotta come over. And I was like, you know, whatever. But then I was like, oh, free food and free beer, fuck yeah, you know. So I go over there, man. I bust through that fucking gate, man, tattoos showing and all that shit, just thinking I'm a badass, you know. And like, the first thing that I see when I get through that gate is this beautiful girl, man. She was so beautiful. She was like sitting there and she was like talking to all these other girls and she was making them laugh and everything. And then I was just like, damn, you know, I would do anything to be with that girl, you know? I looked down on my tattoos and shit and I'm like, she's never gonna have anything to do with me, you know? She's a fucking good girl. I'm just some essay from the neighborhood, you know? Man, it's like I couldn't keep my eyes off her, you know? She kept catching me too and I'd like look away and shit, you know? Man, I couldn't fool her, you know, because as like the sun was setting, she like walked over to me, you know. She put her hand on my chest. And it was like that one touch healed me, you know. She looked up at me and she said, I've been waiting for you all day to come over and say hello to me and you never did. So here's my number. Call me. You know, I still tried to play it cool and shit, but it's like when she took her hand away, it was like a piece of me went with her, you know. Man, when I got home, I just stopped even trying to play it cool. Man, I called her that night. I was like, Madeline, it's Jorge, would you please go out to dinner with me, you know? She said yes. And we like the next night, we went to this little place in my neighborhood, and man, we just like talked and laughed the whole night, you know, like the whole night. I just knew, I had never felt that way before, you know, I knew. It's like I did everything in my power to spend every minute I could with her for like the next 3 weeks. Man, we had such a good time together, you know? And finally, one night, she was like, Jorge, I'd like you to come over to my house to meet my parents. And I was like, wow. You know, that shit's trippy, man. I mean, I said to her, like, I'd love to, you know, but, man, I was freaking out, you know? So, like, that next Saturday rolls around, and I borrowed this long-sleeve shirt from my brother, you know, so her father wouldn't see my tattoos and shit. And I go over there, man, and, like, the minute I meet Madeleina's parents, I knew where she came from, because they were, like, so sweet and funny and nice. And I just felt like a part of the family, like the minute I came through, you know? So it was great, man, but it was kind of weird. I knew something freaky was going on, because it was like when dinner got over, like Madeline and her mother just like got up and went into the kitchen. I was like, you know, where are you going? And shit. And her father was like, Jorge, I'd like to talk to you in the living room. And I was like, oh, fuck, you know? Jig is up, you know? But he brings me in the living room and he sits me down and he says, Jorge, my daughter tells me that she's in love with you. I had never heard from her, so my heart was like dancing in my chest, you know? He said, you love my daughter? And I said, I didn't even wait a second. I was like, yeah, I love her with all my heart, sir. He said, good. You gotta promise me 3 things, Jorge. You gotta promise me you're always gonna respect her, you're always gonna protect her, and most importantly, you have to promise me that you're gonna love her each and every day. Promise me those 3 things, I'll give you my blessing. I said, sir, I promise you, I will do all 3 of those things. And he blessed us. It was funny too, man, because we dated for like another year, you know. It's like, Madalena didn't want to make love until we were married, you know. I used to trip on that shit. I'd be like, baby, I paid for dinner, you know. But her was like, it was okay, you know. It just made me work hard to get the money for the ring, you know. And that's what happened on Cinco de Mayo. Working fucking overtime, you know. I was trying to make a little bit more money, you know, one step fucking closer to the ring, you know. The Cinco de Mayo, man, that's a big fucking throwdown in my neighborhood, you know. Shit's always fun and everything, but like, sometimes shit pops off because people drink too much or whatever, you know. So I like called Madalena and was like, baby, I gotta work tonight, you know, so why don't you go over to your sister's house? Because her sister lived in this like security building, you know. Thought she'd be okay. I tried to call her once from work, she didn't pick up, but I figured she was at the parade or something like that. When I got off work, I went over there and I buzzed the door a couple of times and there was no response, you know. Must have buzzed that fucking thing like 1,000 more times, you know, and she never answered, and I just knew something was wrong, you know. So I like went around the side of the building, I jumped up on this dumpster, you know, and up onto the fire escape, and I went up to Madalena's sister's window. When I looked in, there she was, man. My beautiful baby, and somebody had beaten her up, you know. I didn't fucking care anymore, man. I just kicked in that fucking window, you know. I went right over to her and I picked up her head, you know. I was like cradling her head in my lap. And I looked down and I thought she was dead, you know. I didn't think that much blood could live outside of a person, you know. I just said, Madalena, baby, it's Jorge, please, please, baby, please. And she opened her eyes, thank God, man. She whispered something, I couldn't really hear it. I said, I'm sorry, baby, what? She said, I'm sorry, Jorge. I was like, what are you fucking sorry for? You know, I'm just so glad you're alive. She said, I'm sorry because I was saving myself for you. I said, that's right, baby, that's not your fault. You know, you just tell me you did this. Just tell me you did this. Been out of her mind with pain, man. But normally she never would have told me, but she said, Luis, he's this little motherfucker who lived in her sister's building who was always trying to get with Madalena, you know. Picked my baby up, I put her on the couch. I said, baby, I'm gonna take care of everything. You're never gonna have to be scared again. Like I said, man, I used to play hard, you know. Still carried a piece in my car, so I went downstairs and I got it. Came back up, dialed 911. I said, send the ambulance to apartment 302 in the corner to apartment 304. Walked down that hall, I knocked on the fucking door, man. He must have like fallen asleep when he got done and shit. Because it took him about 5 fucking minutes to get to that door. And when he got to that door, I could smell the fucking whiskey on his breath, and I could see my baby's blood on his fucking shirt and on his fucking pants, and I just picked up a fucking gun and I pulled the fucking trigger, you know. Back in and waited for the ambulance and the police to arrive. Sends me to 8 years, man. Second-degree murder with extenuating circumstances. As a maximum, man, that shit is hard, man. I don't think I was gonna make it, you know. I didn't think I was gonna make it through that first year, you know. Madalena's padre, though, we kept fighting with the warden to allow us to get married, to allow Madalena and I to get married. And after a year, he gave in, you know, we did. What exactly our dream marriage, you know, it was alright. I was getting married to Madalena. After that, I knew everything was going to be alright. Because even though I was in this place of darkness, I had light in my life. I had light in my life. I didn't keep that shit to myself either, man, because that shit is infinite. I found other brothers with cold, dead hearts, and we read books, and we listened to poetry, and we listened to music, and I said, I don't give a fuck what got you in here, but you're leaving here a better man, you know? So I got out with 3, man. I served good time. I served good time, you know? When I got out, there she was, man. My beautiful baby. Sorry. That's why I say I thank God every night I come home. Because I could have lost her that night. Oh, what happened when we got her? And you're the first person I told that story to outside of my family, okay? So if you use my story, you have to tell it exactly like I told it to you, okay? I don't want people thinking that I took that man's life for no reason. You know, I was protecting the light. Protecting the light. Sometimes you have to fight for love.